What's up everyone, Brian Phobos here. Today we're going to talk about the Steem Backed Dollar pump out of Korea. It is insane. It's hard to even know what's going on or what they're thinking or what the method to the madness is. So as we see the Steem Backed Dollar, and don't be confused, Steem and Steem Backed Dollars is different. Steem Dollars is a debt against Steem, and it was intended to be pegged to the US dollar. Then we had this huge rise up, went clear up to $15. It fell way back to, looks like $3.44, and now it is pumping again, $7.71, and that is excluding all this volume coming out of Korea that is basically being traded for their fiat currency. But you see 91% of it is that, but that number is being excluded. But I guarantee you there's some type of arbitrage going on. Some people do have access on this Korean exchange, and that is pumping the price up on Bittrex and Poloniex, and also hit BTC even though that volume is low. But $222 million, that's a serious amount of money. And it's not like that this is $6 or $10 million. There's still a lot of money, but we're not talking about these extreme amounts of money like this. And it isn't like this is new. I went over here to Upbit. It is kind of funny how red represents an upswing on this chart versus what we're used to. Red means down and green means up, but blue means down and red means up. But it's been trading out there since actually late October. And then it's like, well, I feel like this was a sophisticated pump that was coordinated. And then we've had this sell off, and then we've got this other upswing going up. And I don't know, I mean, it certainly looks like that amount of volume, that it is coordinated, but that's a lot of money, guys. 222 million. I mean, that's not a small amount of coin. And people are asking me, hey, should I hold my Steem Backed Dollars? And is this thing going to go back to 15? Really, this is unpredictable. I don't know how much longer this can last. Personally, as I get my Steem Backed Dollars in, I continue to sell my Steem Backed Dollars. That's what I'm going to continue to go, because I don't think there's any guarantee that this is going to keep going up. There's a lot of bloggers on Steemit that are selling their Steem Backed Dollars either for living expenses or to buy more Steem, or to just diversify into other cryptos. Now, I think that the Steem Backed Dollar price being so high, it will likely continue to pull Steem up. So I'm figuring Steem will continue to rise a little bit as well. But we will see what will happen here in the next few weeks. Now, I want to talk about some of the third-party applications on the Steem blockchain, and how potentially posting over here could actually get you more money than posting on steemit.com. So basically, there's been a lot of power that's been delegated to some of these third-party applications, which makes it so that you can earn more. So if let's say dMania.lol is actually a meme site, you can post meme-related stuff on this, and it will show up in your regular blog. Here is a post from Stackin, and I'm just viewing this through steemit.com, but he originally posted it on dMania, and he made that. And then if you see, the top vote was from dMania, so he got a huge upvote from them, got a huge payout, and this payout ends up being way higher than this even, because Steem Backed Dollars is so high. So if you look at dMania's account, you see all this delegated power. I'm actually delegating some power to dMania as well, but Ned, the CEO of Steemit, delegated 500,000 Steem to them. So that's a very, very large amount. Same thing with DTube, decentralized YouTube. DTube just keeps getting better and better and better, guys. And a lot of people are almost specifically posting on DTube and even putting in the logo into their videos to hopefully entice DTube with their delegated power to upvote them. They have over 1 million Steem of delegated power. It's a lot of power. Same thing with DLive, live streaming on the Steem blockchain. A lot of people playing CSGO, Counter-Strike, and other video games. But this is all on the Steem blockchain, guys. It's pretty crazy. You don't see other blockchains doing this. And DLive has a ton of delegated power to them. At least 1 million was from Ned. So if we look at Ned's wallet, obviously fatty wallet right there, and you see the negative amount that he has delegated to these other third-party applications. So might kind of seem counterintuitive to a lot of people that the CEO of Steemit.com would delegate power to these third-party applications, but the success of the Steem blockchain is going to depend on all these third-party applications, and maybe some of these utilities that we see on something like DTube will ultimately get integrated into Steemit.com. Who knows what's in store for Steemit.com in general and what's going to happen with all the third-party apps. I think that it's kind of an exploratory period of what is possible, and we're seeing some amazing things happen. Another thing I want to say is that people are very confused about the fact that if you connect through a browser, if it's decentralized or not. And sometimes yes, sometimes no. If you access your wallet on Steemit.com, they never saw your keys here. So all this that we're seeing here, and let's say you accessing and you're able to send some Steem over to another user, Steemit Incorporated never saw your keys. You know, they don't know what your keys are. It's like blockchain.info or my Ether wallet. They never saw your keys, but something like Bittrex or Binance or Coinbase, those are custodial accounts essentially. So when your money's over there, you don't have access to your keys. And I think newer users often became confused between these lending platforms and the fact that they've relinquished all control over the coins versus something like Steem. Even if let's say Ned or another user that with a large amount of power didn't like what I was doing with my Steem or something, they really would have no control over me sending my Steem to some other exchange or some other user. You know, whether they like the person that I'm sending the money to or not, they don't really have any power over it. Whereas obviously with custodial accounts, you know, they can essentially kind of lock you out, or, you know, just like, okay, you can't do that, or this is locked, these funds are locked here. So don't become confused with that. There are other ways to connect to the Steem blockchain and access your funds. Here is basically an animated GIF of eSteem or a Steem. It's a mobile app developed by a third-party developer named Good Karma. It's also a witness, and he's showing how you could pick Steem or Steem Backed Dollars and basically send it to another user, you know, utilizing this app. So you're able to control your funds through this app, and then maybe somebody else looks at it basically through Steemit.com. But regardless, it is decentralized. The blockchain is replicated on many, many, many different servers around the world, and you control your funds, you control your keys, and all that. Now, one thing I will say about stuff like DTube, dMania, is that there's something called Steem Connect that you use to connect through it. Now, usually we'd only want to connect with our posting key. There are several keys, you know, that you can use in the Steem ecosystem, but some of these are actually requiring the active key, and I'm not really sure why they're wanting the active key, because the active key actually gives you the ability to move funds in your wallet. But all that being said, I don't think these applications aren't malicious or anything like that. They're not trying to get your funds. There might be another reason why there were certain things that they were doing that they needed access to the active key versus just using the posting key. So not really sure what is going on there. Now, I just want to say something for newer users, and you can find these videos out online. This is from the Curious Investor, and he basically talks about the ledger for, let's say, something like Bitcoin. And there's a certain amount of money that's in circulation at any given time, and basically all you're doing, even if you thought about it, is that you're going to move, let's say, like 6 coins over to Bob, and you would just like move it over to their spot on the digital ledger. And anything that they're accessing it with, let's say a mobile phone, is in reality, the coins are not stored on the phone. What is stored on the phone, if they're accessing it through, let's say the Android Bitcoin app or something like that, and not through something like Coinbase app, is that it would essentially have the keys on here and allow them to sign the transaction to move, let's say, coins from their account over to Carol on the digital ledger. So this is just kind of a placeholder. It's just a ledger of who owns what funds, and you know, if you control the keys, then you're able to move those coins. And it's the same thing with the Steem blockchain. Now, typically you don't have an alias like this associated to an address, but on the Steem blockchain we do. Like my address is at Brian Phobos here. You know, same thing with, let's say, Ned. His address is Ned, so you send money to Ned, and these little spammers are basically sending all kinds of garbage to Ned because his account's so big. It's kind of ridiculous. But that all being said, I just wanted to make that distinguishing factor. And I think that, again, a lot of the newer users that maybe got into the lending platforms, they didn't really understand the difference between something that's truly decentralized, like the Steem blockchain that you would access through a web browser, and something like these lending platforms that you just relinquished your keys completely because, you know, they were new to crypto and they didn't understand that. And that part of it is kind of confusing. But just because you access your funds through a website or through an internet browser does not mean that you do or don't have access to your keys. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. My Ether wallet, you have access to your keys. Blockchain.info, you have access to your keys. My Monero, you have access to your keys. Steemit.com, you have access to your keys. Coinbase.com, you don't have access to your keys. Bitrix.com, you don't have access to your keys. Binance, you don't have access to your keys. So on and so forth. So I hope that maybe clears up some stuff for some of the new users or people who are maybe a little bit confused about that. But if you're wanting higher payouts on the Steem blockchain, look for these third-party apps because they do have a lot of delegated power. They could upvote you, and that could really kind of pump up your earnings. Anyway, guys, have a great day. Follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, Steemit, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Have a great night.